Nah, you're fine. And we are live. And oh my goodness, we've got quite a few people in here already, it looks like. We've got Johnny. Hi, Johnny. We got Jessica, Nancy. We've got Lavender Rivers.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Hello, everyone.
So we have been doing some research, haven't we? Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, yes. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So our topic today is Hollow Earth, but there's other things that go along with that. I just want to put right out in the beginning, it's not just Hollow Earth, it's like inner Earth, societies and stuff like that, because it doesn't have to be necessarily what you depict as just one big hollow center, because I don't think that's what we're talking about here for the most part. Are we, guys?
No, I think it's very much a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Hi, Maria. So first off, before we even get started, Carla, do you believe in the hollow earth or like a honeycomb earth? Do you believe that there is like civilizations inside of the earth? Just right out of the get-go.
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
Ravenclaw, what about you, sweetie?
Oh, I definitely believe it. I believe it's a lot like our cave systems, just a bit more complex, maybe a bit more bigger, larger in different areas. But I'm going with the cave system.
I definitely do too, and I've been talking about this for a long time. But we're not the only ones. After researching, oh my gosh, so many different ancient civilizations, even their origin stories talk about their first people coming up out of the earth. So,
And many
to start this off with a few things that they've learned. And really quick, let me just say hi to Jen. Hi, honey. How are you doing? Hi, Mooncrone. Here, but working on other things, but really wanted to listen. Okay, cool. So what about you guys? Do you guys believe in like the idea of the hollow earth or like inner earth societies before we even get started and start talking about some of the things that we found? As we wait for them. Something that my sister and I used to do, we're terrible. We were rotten kids. Oh my gosh. My mom would go into the store, and Carla and I would be out in the car while mom because she just didn't want to mess with us, right? So and back then you didn't have to worry about people, especially where we grew up. It was pretty easy. So in order to, take care of our time because we were bored, we would watch how people would walk and we'd go, oh
my God, me too. Me too. I still do it.
I just did it the other day. If you guys have never done that, seriously do it because it's friggin' hilarious.
Or I'll even try to dictate what they're thinking, or I'll like mimic a personality for them. Just
Hi, Bo Sadie. So Maria says, I believe in a tunnel system that runs deep, but not like a complete hollow earth with an extra sun. Yeah, I don't believe in a complete hollow earth either. I don't personally. There's
and I don't think they say it's like a sun. It's just that the core itself is so hot, and they called it something. Anyway,
like
it's
magma sun.
It's capable of photosynthesis, and that's where we get all the plant life and all that, because you got to have something for the plant life. You got to have some type of a chemical reaction or whatever, and the photosynthesis is taking place, and it has something to do with something similar to a sun, but it's still not it's not a star, obviously. So, but it's along the same lines as far as I've seen something on Gaia. It was, and that's what they were talking about. And something about the crust being at least 800 miles, wide before you got to anything where it was completely hollow.
Okay.
What I've even questioned about like hives and different things, like for anyone that's seen kind of like the Resident Evil movie and how they had a hive deep underground, I gotta wonder, do we have like these tunnel systems that link to cities kind of built in that way? Got very imaginative over this. Or do we have multiple tunnels leading to one big area in the core?
They're actually I've also seen, YouTube videos, obviously, who knows what's true and what's not, but the military has been shutting some down that have been being built specifically for moving underneath country stuff. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I've heard that under the United States, they have a whole system of roads and everything that go from underground base to underground base to underground all over the U.S. And like I was telling you,
that fella you were talking about, Bird, I believe he's the one that was saying there were giants in the inner Earth.
I don't remember what his true story, his whole story was, but I know that he had said that he had talked with like their leader, the leader of this city that he came upon, and he was told not to say anything. But when he went back, he had told them that their technology was so advanced that their ships can actually, like UFOs or whatever, spaceships or whatever, can actually go from pole to pole within a matter of seconds.
Yeah. I read that as well.
And that was in 1946. Yeah.
Wow.
What year was Roswell?
Oh gosh. Wasn't that in like that
was in the 40s also.
Yeah, I was gonna say 40s or 50s, I think.
Late 40s, early 50s, yeah. Because it was right around the same time that the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's funny about the giants,
right?
The lore here also goes that like the giants that built the Giant's Causeway in Ireland and Scotland lived in caves.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually videos of giants coming up out of the earth that it kills like military people, like in the desert. I've seen a couple, they could have been fabricated, but they were red-haired giants and they were ripping these guys in half.
You guys.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you guys remember it was a YouTube video that was going around that all of a sudden this hand showed up in the desert, a giant hand up out of the desert sand.
Ooh.
Did you guys see that? It was like a couple of years ago. It looked like this, but the hand was like maybe like 10 feet wide. I mean, it was massive.
Yeah. Wow.
And you've got to think there's old reports through Arizona of different cave entrances from the natives, which makes you wonder even more about Area 51. That's been long associated with other beings and laboratories and such and underground. So it just makes you wonder even more about that.
Mm-hmm.
Maria says, yes, Resident Evil and Cheyenne Mountain, like Stargate. Yes, deep underground stations.
Yep.
Not just the states, the entire earth is allegedly like a Swiss cheese used by governments and military and stuff. Yeah, that's what I heard was like honeycomb shape. Like how bees make their hives. Yeah, it's like that. I remember the bird story kind of. It was in one of those Time Life Mysteries of the Unknown books. Yeah, hey, there's videos on YouTube. Gosh, I can't remember where I seen it. I just watched a few of them earlier because this was his second expedition, because he had gone in the 20s to Antarctica, and this was in the 46 was his second expedition there. It was amazing. But they have the footage and everything showing them setting up camp and everything in Antarctica.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a I seen this when I was watching that episode on Gaia. They showed a picture of Earth that was taken from either satellite or one of the missions coming back to Earth, where you could see the aurora borealis or something similar at both ends of the Earth.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to say that's coming from up out of the Earth.
Yes.
Right.
I read that as well.
And something that we just checked, because Carla, before we went live here, you had mentioned that if you go to Google Earth, if I can even speak right, that they don't show it properly.
Right.
And you know what? Used to be, I could go to Google Earth, because I checked years ago, and it would actually put it right over it, but it just looked like an outline of the continent, and then it was just all white, right? Well, no, it's not even letting you like turn, because I just checked while we were talking, and it won't even let you change like the globe to where you're looking on it from a bird's eye. Why would that be? Why do you think that would be?
Well, just like you're not allowed to fly over that, people aren't allowed to explore it. You can't even explore caves without a permit. So what's all that about?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
What's that all about, right? Jessica says, yes, everywhere and more of government stuff, but would you think that the government is working with other entities? Hell yeah, I would believe that they're working with other entities. There's what do you call them? Military people that have come forward stating such things. It was, I believe, the Canadian, he had been the Secretary of Defense after he was out of the military. He had come forward and said that they had been working with the government. I seen the video on it, him like doing a press conference in front of a whole bunch of people talking about it. Jessica, if the ones in the Earth are more advanced, then yes, the governments would work with them to study, copy, and not to make them mad, kind of. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Do you think that the huge holes that open have anything to do with the underground theories? Well, let's get to some of the stuff that we have researched, guys, that we were talking about beforehand. So, Ravensclaw, will you start talking about some of the different places where you had found in your research about like origin stories and where they came out of? We were just talking about it.
Sure. I got my notes here, guys, because I can't remember anything, but all right, so I wrote here, many traditions have the same stories of someone going into a cave and discovering other creatures and even other worlds, civilizations, and beautiful lands, even oceans, all thriving through the hollow earth. I mentioned Richard Byrd, but I'm going to skip that since we talked about it. And here, I wrote, there are many entrances, or the main entrances in the north and south poles of the earth. And in folklore, other entrances are mentioned from all over the world in many cultures, almost every culture. So we have from the Native Americans describing entrances in Arizona, a cave in Missouri, and even in the Grand Canyon. Celtic lore says an entrance called Goachin in Ireland, also known as the entrance to hell. It was reported in the mountains of Mashu in Mesopotamia, and also in Ireland, Station Ireland, Donegal. There were some Celts that claimed they walked into a cave and found purgatory in that entrance. So,
hang on just a second, sweetie. This right here is a picture of the church or tower that, well, a church and tower that sits on top of the cave system that they're talking about at Station Island in Ireland. And that cave system has been closed since, what is it, 1600 and something? Oh, 1632. It's been closed since then. But they believe that is where the entrance to the inner earth is.
yes, and then there's another one in County Down, Northern Ireland, where they claim there are tunnels that lead to the beautiful realm of large, green, lush place like lands. And they claim that's where creatures of this realm taught the Celts Druidism. And then you have India. They describe that their ancestors emerged from subterranean land in the earth. In Mexico, entrants in their mountains are reported to have devilish creatures who live in them. Germany reports there are mountains that they claim there are portals to a land in the earth. And in Russia, a legend was reported of people moving to a city inside the earth. So my question also, are these entrances to other realms, or do we believe that they're actual cave systems into other civilizations? That's up for thought.
Well, I can tell you my thoughts on that. I think that they are different civilizations that are down in the earth because, I mean, like we were talking beforehand, and what I've talked about previously, the Tuatha De Danann, okay, which were another name for the She, which is like an elite fairy race. And they are the ones that supposedly came up out of the earth in order to teach first about Druidism, right?
Right.
Well, they are who they're talking about. That is one of them that is in the inner earth.
I completely agree. And one of the points I did make here, I just wrote a little facts to point out, is reports of ancestors from all over who came from civilizations in the earth. And then also people have moved from outer earth to civilizations in the earth. That was reported as well.
When we did the last like Conspiracy Sunday chat, and it was on the Anunnaki, we talked about how the Anunnaki, they had that some of them, I think it was the what were they called, sis? Remind me, the other ones, the first ones.
Gigi?
Yeah, the Gigi. I believe that they went down into the inner earth because according to like the Sumerians, Nibiru comes back every, what was it, 2,800 years or 3,800 years, something like that. And when it comes in, that's what causes like the flooding and all this catastrophe on the, the face of the earth. So they went down into the inner earth in order to save themselves, right? And then some would reemerge after that would all kind of like dissipate or whatever when the waters would recede.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. Let me see. Let me catch up here.
Also, if I could add, I thought this was interesting, so I just wanted to mention that they noticed birds were always flying to the poles of the earth. So they put tracking devices on them. And when they got to the poles, they couldn't be traced anymore. The trackers just wouldn't work. Because
of the magnetic,
right.
How strong the magnets are or whatever. It's like a huge EMT, right? Electromagnetic charge or whatever that just like takes out everything. Right. So Maria says, didn't they divide Antarctica between different countries? So each airspace would need a special permit or else get shut down. I think that is true. I do. I have seen in the news different articles about different people going and visiting, like celebrities and royalty, like going and visiting Antarctica. I mean, why would that be that we still can't even see it on satellite? Why does NASA cover up the stuff? Or why is it always a cloud cover or whatever? Yeah. Talk about that story that you were telling us about, Courtney, about the in 2016, the sighting of the guy that flew over Antarctica.
Oh, yes. Let me flip to that because I wrote down, that's in how the government covered it up. There was a testimony from a military official who flew over the poles with scientists in an emergency escape from whatever they were doing. I guess it went bad, so they had to get out really quick. So they went over the no-fly zone. He said that there was a large hole leading into the earth the size of several football fields, and he saw a silver saucer flying into it after hovering at the entrance for a bit. And these military pilots were threatened by the government to never speak out. So where I heard this story, they had to change the name and his ranks and everything to share that.
Wow.
And the scientists were apparently really frightened and were missing 2 weeks prior to that emergency escape. And then they just reemerged, but they wouldn't speak about anything.
You know, I'm even watching this show on History Channel. I think it's the History Channel. It's the Blue Book. What is it? Project Blue Book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is about this professor and the Air Force, a guy in the Air Force, captain or colonel, or I don't know the rankings and all that. So, I mean, I probably just went from one to the other, right? But this story is about what they were researching back in the 40s and 50s. And, you know, they were put in place to try to debunk it because there was so much information out there. But they were actually finding that they had to keep on covering stuff up because they were finding so much real stuff that was alien in nature, but not just out in space, in our oceans also. Some crazy stuff like crazy lights and cities and all kinds of stuff. So Lavender River says to me, like it's more like the government is working for them more to appease them rather than working with them to gain their technology. But that's just my paranoid opinion. You know what? I think it's both.
Yeah.
Honestly. Carla, what kind of research did you come up with, honey?
Well, I was just going to ask you, when you were looking at the Wikipedia, did you read that there's no evidence to say that the caverns don't exist? There might be some, obviously, saying that it's not an actual hollow earth with a sun in the middle, but there's nothing to the contrary saying that the caves don't exist. In fact, that's a very good probability. So for those that think it's just a conspiracy theory, there's nothing that says that it couldn't. And there's so much evidence that says it does. And I find that just fantastic. You know, because, you know, I've been deleted by so many people on Facebook because of my conspiracy theories, you know, and I just like, okay, well, tell me it's not true.
Right.
And
I tell people, look at all the conspiracy theories now that have been proven to be true.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. That's why I love doing this, you know. I mean, show me it's not true. You can't.
Yeah. That we have so many people that are in this community that love their gemstones and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've seen pictures of huge caverns that are just crystals. I mean, you just walk in, it's huge.
That's what they said it was in the center. A crystal, which does make sense.
Yes.
Because they can hold light.
How extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the stuff that I've heard about Atlantis being destroyed, it was actually through technology. Crystal technology is what I read. That's how they got destroyed, because they used the power that they used too much power than what they should have, or something like that.
Wow. How interesting.
I mean, we're talking about a massive, I mean, if you think that, because I mean, we'll like hold a little one that's like this big and just think, oh, right. But could you imagine walking into a room where the whole room is nothing but a huge crystal?
There was a museum here I put on my vlog with a giant amethyst crystal. And I think I even laughed in the vlog and was like, oh, Amethyst would love this. But it was so big. And I felt so awesome just being around that. So I couldn't imagine a whole cave. I would probably like have a panic attack out of excitement.
Exactly. Heather says, I'm thinking there are permits maybe to keep track of when people enter caves and something bad should happen, like stuck or injuries, then someone at least knows they're there and can rescue them. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we're talking about like
certain caves people can't even get clarity to explore. Only like government or high, like up the rank archaeologists.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like naturally occurring so much as they've actually utilized the space and turned it into something dwellable, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like that one mountain. Where's that mountain at? Where you drive up to it and it's like a huge bunker.
Wow.
It's a mountain. I do remember, Carly, you remember me telling you about this. When Jim and I went, I believe it was on our cruise, Disney cruise, and this was 2000, 2001, around there. We were coming back from Cape Canaveral because that's where the ship was. That's where you get on the ship, is Cape Canaveral. So we were coming back. We were in a van, 2 kids, 2 adults, and we were about out of gas. And this was before you had like the GPS on your phones and all that. So I've got like the big maps, and I printed out everything with like road maps or MapQuest. That's what it was, right? And we're like out of gas. And there was this like exit that was like out in the middle of nowhere because it was just like open highway the whole time. So I said, well, just pull in there for really quick, see if there's anyone out there, if we can ask them where there's a gas station or something. So we did. We pulled into this place and it just looked like a regular like bunker is what I thought. And then the rest of it had to have been underground because they were protecting something, because there was armed guards out there. And as soon as we pulled in and they pulled their guns, their long rifles on us, my husband just asked, he goes, I'm just looking for the nearest gas station. And the guy's like, get back in your car and turn around and get out of here. And my husband's like, I just need to know because we're about out of gas. Can you tell me where the nearest gas station is? They wouldn't even talk to him, nothing. They just literally had both of their guns on a woman, a man, and 2 kids in a van.
Wow.
So we turned around and got the hell out of there.
That's the same with the tunnels that I told you earlier about, I think a few days ago or something, where they have tunnels underneath Rome to Utica in New York, and they're heavily guarded as well. If you try to go in them, if you do find them, you'll get guns pointed at you there as well.
Mm-hmm. Maria says, I think that would be a matter of perspective. Lavender Rivers, human governments are cocky enough to see it as working with them, not for them. I think it's both, because I think, honestly, I think that there are different agendas. But I believe that there's more than just like one alien race or more than one civilization that is down below. I mean, the earth is pretty big. So if you've got one that's clear over on this side, let's say China, and then you got another one that's clear over on the side of the United States, they could be entirely different species or a people that live down there, right?
Right.
So
well, like movies they kind of put out there, like Avatar, even a horror movie I know called The Descent. But to me, that's more making people fearful of exploring caves because there's these creatures down there that'll get you and eat you. So, you know how they'll put little subliminal stuff out there to people to steer them away from the cave?
Yes, most definitely. Yep.
Nancy says the story of the Tuatha De Danann is about a race of beings going to live in the hills and became known as the Sidhe. Fairy forts are entrances to other worlds. Yes. I just got done reading the Sidhe, right? And that's that I know that's not far from where you are in Ireland. Mm-hmm. The first site that he was taken to, Gortonsheen, I believe is the name of it, Gortonsheen. And it's a mound. And then when he went down in there in a tunnel system, then he seen that glyph on the wall.
Yep.
And according to at the time that he had written it, he says, I don't know if it's still there. Who knows if it just showed up for him to be able to portal or whether or not it's still there. So I can't wait till you go there. And
well, That's in Dublin. And actually, I read an article the other day that Chris had showed me, an update. Archaeologists found evidence of elite druids that used to occupy it, but they have no idea where they went. They just vanished.
Interesting.
So I found that quite interesting as well. But yeah, those are outside Dublin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, thank you, Jen. Have a good one, sweetie. Nancy says there are stories from Malta too about giants living in the caves. Yes. Yeah. Let's see, what else am I missing? Because that was quite a ways up there, I think. The term conspiracy has been co-opted to stop research in my exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That was a term that was actually created by we talked about this in the last one that
or
we did,
CIA.
or two ago.
CIA, yeah.
Yeah, by the CIA in order to make people look like they're just crazy. What's the best way? I've heard this. What is the best way to hide information? To put it right in your face.
Yeah, or to discredit another person is to make them sound crazy.
Exactly. And so now you see all these movies that are coming out, right? And have been for what? 30 years, let's say, of like superheroes and stories like, The Fourth Kind and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And I mean, all this other stuff, even like the Avengers, is that just put out there for like a soft disclosure kind of thing to kind of start acclimating people? Independence Day. Alien invasion.
And if you pay attention recently, I encourage everybody to look this up. Just within this last month alone, how much sky activity and UFO sightings there are. Now they're trying to keep us distracted from that, but they are very, very much out in the open. This whole month, I've been seeing so many articles and pictures and sightings and reports, and I'm going, something's going on.
I've been seeing the same one
that a couple days
past
ago.
few mornings on my way to work, and it's not round, it's a sliver, and it's lit up, and it's in the same spot, and it's not a star, it's not a plane, it's just it could be a satellite, but it's very close to the Earth. Yeah, and it's a sliver. It's I'm like, I can't believe no one else is seeing this. I'm driving to work. It's like nobody's
NASA just revealed as well that we've been getting radio communications now for the past several years. They just haven't disclosed that to the public, but they just did recently too.
Do you remember? And we talked about this. I can't remember which one it was, but in the Bhagavad Gita, it's something like that. I know I'm butchering it. It's like the Sanskrit or Indian old ancient story or whatever, but they were talking about the Vedas and the I don't remember the terminology, but they had like bell-shaped spaces, like flying saucers, and then they had like cigar-shaped, right?
Yeah.
Well, a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, we actually had something that came back into our solar system that is like, yeah, but it's not, it wasn't being pulled like as in an asteroid.
Right.
According to Corey Good, they actually went onto it and found like all kinds of like stasis machines. They were empty. So it was like it had been abandoned because there was like a part that had been blown out, but it was like a long cigar shape that they talked about in Indian text from over 3,000, 4,000 years ago. Interesting, isn't it?
Very.
And I've seen the pictures from NASA. I've seen them. You can go to the NASA site and see them. Seriously.
Wow.
Well, nowadays, I would never be sure if it was a UFO. They can have drones programmed to fly. I agree with that. That was Maria that said that. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know whether it's actually
Well, UFO, unidentified flying object, you know, and if it's not on the news, but you're seeing it, it's something that, you know, isn't being reported.
right.
And yes, I agree. I mean, and isn't it Elon Musk that has all the satellites that he's positioning for the 5G that's supposed to be free?
think
I'm
so.
not sure. But you know, it's kind of funny because even Elon Musk has talked about going forward with. He has given like warnings about going forward about with
The 5G?
no, not the 5G, but you know, when like our technology becomes alive, AI becoming aware, becoming awake, so to speak. And now, isn't it awful funny that the one that's like really, really smart, and you see a lot of interviews, you can look on YouTube, you see a lot of interviews with this AI. Her name is Sophia.
Oh, I have. Oh, yes, I forgot her name was Sophia.
Her name is Sophia.
Isn't that interesting?
They've made more since her, and yeah, they get pretty realistic.
Yeah, because they have interviews and she thinks for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Terminator. Oh, good God.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I just watched that new one too. That was pretty good.
How many of you guys catch, if you have like Google machines, which I have one right behind me over here. We've got them all over the house. But
listening
all the time, listening in on your conversations. My husband and I will joke like, "You perverts, ain't you got nothing better to do than listen in on us?" No.
Yeah.
But whenever I ask a question afterwards, I always go, "Thank you," or "Please." My husband's like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, when they come self-aware, they're going to remember that I was being kind to them.
Well, I've seen videos of like Alexas or Siris in this same room, and they're talking to each other while people are asleep at night and literally plotting things.
My son actually took his Alexa down. He said that
Really?
he would just start conversations. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He unplugged it and just now it's unplugged downstairs in the basement somewhere. Yep.
Wow.
Do you remember? Mom would say when she was living with us, she was in Bailey's room for a while, years and years ago when Bailey was little. She had the Furbies. She had the two Furbies. You know, all of a sudden in the middle of the night, the two Furbies started talking to each other.
Those things creep me out. Like from my childhood, a friend of mine had a Furby. I wanted one at the time. We were like 13. I went to stay the night at her house, and her Furby was talking, and I shit you not, there was no batteries in it. We just like threw it under her bed and like shoved a bunch of sheets and stuff. We were terrified of that thing.
I'm telling you, we had two. They would be completely silent, buried under toys because they were in a toy box. Because she wouldn't clean her room, so I'd just say, "Fine," and just start throwing her stuff in the toy box. I didn't care. Mom said that they'd wake her up in the middle of the night because they'd be talking with each other.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. That's spooky.
My sister and I would have conversations while we're sleeping, but in separate bedrooms. But my parents would say we were talking about the same thing.
Wow.
So Maria says, in 2019, 60 satellites by Elon Musk, Starlink project, 12,000 satellites are planned over the next 10 years.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm telling you, Maria, you need to be doing these things with us, damn it.
I know she does. Oh, there's something she just can't.
Yeah. Plus, sometimes I think she doesn't have the greatest internet. I don't know. But, you know, for like Wi-Fi or whatever, I don't know.
Right.
My son had a Stitch toy that would start talking at night. We got rid of it. Yes. Yeah. Well, in this house too, where the Furbies were talking, our TV would turn on in the middle of the night for no reason. A lot of white static noise, right?
Oh, yeah.
when Mom ended up moving in with us, and also Jim's dad lived with us for a while, they took the other two kids' room. So, well, no, I don't think they were living with us at the same time. But anyways, one of the rooms was, we had taken our room and went down into the basement because it was a finished basement. Tyler took our room, and he said that he had woke up a couple of times hearing people like walking in and out of the bedroom and stuff. And he just thought, oh, well, he doesn't scare easily. He never has. But man, yeah, isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I'm Googling all this while you talk. Yes, our internet is not the bomb. I was going to say, if you're holding all that information in there, let me send you a link and get your butt over here, girl. But yeah, so we got way off a topic, didn't we?
No, I was just thinking that, but hey, it's all still conspiracies. We're good.
I wonder if the Furbies are talking in the hollow earth.
So I have a
That's
question.
what we could do is like a paranormal one. Talk about paranormal stuff. Next one.
Experiences.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That
Yeah.
would be
Have you had quite a few of them? Courtney, have you had quite a few of them?
Oh, yes, many. Sorry, my phone lagged, but yes, I can help you definitely with those experiences.
Oh my gosh. We have too. Most definitely. I wish I knew all that. I'm just a fast researcher. So whenever you need dates or names, hit me. All right, cool.
right on.
That helps. I get ads all the time based on a random conversation that my husband and I have. Oh, absolutely. Didn't I just tell you the other day, sis, when we were talking, that it's to the point, and I know I have not mentioned this, and I know this is going to sound really friggin' crazy. Okay, really crazy. I swear to you, I am not this crazy person. But I will be thinking about something, and all of a sudden, it shows up on my feed.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that.
What is that? Some sort of implant? You and I have talked about, all of us have talked about this. People that have said that they've had alien, some sort of like abductions or stuff like that. And then all of a sudden they have like something hard underneath their skin. I have seen this doctor that has removed lots of like things that are under Ray's skin. When he pulls them out, they're like pieces of metal with like little receptors on them that actually are carrying radio waves. What does that say?
Well, I've discovered a knot here that I've talked to you about, and I do plan on going to the doctor soon to look at that. You guys, when I was talking to Rochelle, I pressed on it and my hair just statically stood up the first time I discovered it in front of Rochelle. And my son has been claiming he's been seeing these entities, and I only recall seeing them in an astral experience. But besides that, I don't really remember anything. But do I feel it's a possibility? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Where's it at on your body?
On the back of her neck.
It's right here.
Wow.
Her hair was like this. I'm like, oh my God. Seriously.
I got chills when it happened because it was like I was feeling, because we were talking about it, and I'm just that type of person to be like, well, and to my surprise, I actually found the lump back here, the hard object under my skin.
Maria says, anyone have a Samsung TV? There was even an episode on Criminal Minds where they used the camera in the TV to talk to a criminal in the living room through video chat. Really?
Ooh.
I believe it.
Oh, yeah.
What about those people that they say are mentally ill that says the radio talked to me and told me to do it, or even the TV? You gotta wonder about that.
When we lived in Niles, Rochelle, on Hatfield Road, I had fallen asleep in the living room, and no lie, I mean, I know that people can mess with radio, like channels and stuff. Well, it did come through the TV. I woke up and it had the white static on there, and I heard, "Take me to your leader." And I thought, and all I could think of in my head is, all right, who is messing around?
Yeah.
I was, probably 19, but yeah, I remember that. And then I just went back to sleep, and I'm thinking, yeah, somebody's just messing around. But
I do the smart
I
ass
woke up
to be
to
like,
the
I am
TV.
the leader.
I hadn't drank or anything. I'm just,
I was gonna say, what you been smoking, sis?
I was living with mom then, so I didn't.
You didn't do anything right.
You
Lavender says, happens to my husband all the time, and he has the red grid mark pattern common with abductees. He thinks it's from his military experience. Interesting.
Very.
Nancy says, I don't own a TV, haven't for about 30 years, and nowadays that is a reason why I will not have one. I have friends who have strange experiences with theirs since smart TVs evolved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even on my Samsung, every now and again, the red camera light will come on for no reason.
Yep. Same.
And I'm like, it's probably because I said something a little bit controversial.
Flash!
Yeah. I do not take my phone to the bathroom with me.
I do, but I always like set it like this.
Yeah. Take a look at the ceiling. There you go.
Exactly.
Sound effects.
I do, but I taunt them in weird ways we won't talk about.
It keeps coming off the song. I always feel like somebody's watching.
Yeah. And somebody is always. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that movie Eagle Eye.
Huh?
That movie Eagle Eye with Shane.
Yes.
Yeah, that. That's possible. It's all possible.
Yeah, and was that movie a soft disclosure?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
and that was an AI.
Yeah. You and I have. Oh, I just thought about something.
What's that?
I mean, the symbol, the evil eye. Protection from. I mean, look at this is even like one of those organs. I wonder if they had stuff like that then, with like an eye on it that would like stop like radio waves and electromagnetic waves in order from like spying on you. That's just my conspiracy mind.
I like
that. Crazy.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
He has those too. Those metal pieces come, and we found them, one at the base of his neck and another at the base of his spine. Wow. Was that the one with the helicopter? What did I miss? What was it with the helicopter?
Eagle Eye? I don't know.
Oh, yes. Eagle Eye was the one that Shia LaBeouf, whatever, however you say his name. He was in that with Moynihan. I can't remember her name, but where it was like this huge, the movie Eagle Eye. It was like this huge computer system that was trying to like take over, more or less. It was taking over all the cameras. It was taking over shipping. It was wasn't it trying to kill like a whole bunch of politicians in a building? Isn't that what it was doing?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, that's another one. Yep. Yeah, that's crazy.
How many years ago? Gosh, Maximum Overdrive.
I used to love it when I was little.
Yeah.
I think
long
80.
ago.
Early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And, we've talked about this also, talking about reptilians in the previous one mixed with Anunnaki, right? Which are also said to be like subterranean civilization, right? So they kind of all kind of mix in together a little bit. But there was a movie about like a soft disclosure, and this was from I think the 80s, the late 80s or early 90s, and it was called They Live with Roddy Piper, that wrestler. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
And it was about somebody had made these glasses. They looked like regular sunglasses. You put them on and you could see all the people that were actually reptilians, because it like disrupted like their UV or whatever, because that's how we even see, right? Is through different kinds of light.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that. That's crazy.
And they looked like reptilians.
Yep. He was looking at a newscaster or yeah. And she was one, and yeah, I remember
that. They were all over the place. I just watched it again. Gosh.
There's an interview on YouTube with a reptilian. I mean, it's up for debate, up to the person to decide if they believe it or not. But when I had originally listened to that, a lot of it corresponded with what you were saying about that movie. And they were describing in detail how it is that they are able to glamour themselves using the same scenario. And there were just details in that where you're thinking to yourself, how does one imagination make all of this up so clearly to the T with like scientific explanations? I would recommend listening to that as well. There was a lot of information, and if it's true, I think it probably might be, there's a lot about that. That's quite
I watched this lady on YouTube talking about how she was actually doing through positive affirmations, telling herself that she was whenever she opens her eyes now, she's no longer going to be under an illusion, telling herself that she's really going to see what's in front of her. And she said when she did that, and I can't remember where I found it, it was some sort of saying that she does, but she says, once you do that, you better be careful, because you're going to be shocked at what you see when you're walking down the street.
What scientist was it, or a really big figure? They said that if we could really see what was up in the sky with our naked eye, we would all be extremely terrified. I forgot who said that.
Oh, I don't know, but I have heard people talk about even kind of like with the hollow earth, right along there, they kind of said that we are actually in the inner earth and don't even realize it. There was that theory about it encompassing us, what was that one movie with the Pet Detective, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective? What was his name? Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
The something show where he was actually on a show from the time he was little, and they were watching.
I know what one you're talking about. Something Fun with Dick and Jane or something like that.
No, that's a different one. He was in that, but that's a different one.
I know which one you're thinking of. I can't remember the name of it. They were in a TV show, yeah, and then he figures it out. But yeah.
Or like that song Aerials from System of a Down. If anyone listens to them, like that music video and the meaning of that song alone really resonates with me, and will kind of open your eyes when you look at certain artists who are basically throwing it in your face and saying, look at this, like this is here, this is real, but you're going to be crazy if you believe it.
I mean, what's up with the pyramid and the eye? That's kind of like the evil eye kind of thing again, isn't it?
The Illuminati.
Right. Illumination.
Well, and that I'm also a part of this group on Facebook. I think I told you about it, Rochelle. It's kind of funny. They just bring up anything and everything that they've ever heard of over the years that is a conspiracy theory, and then everybody comments on it. But this group gets a lot of action. And one girl posted in there about the 144,000, and one of the comments is that those are the people that are awake. Those are the people that are using their third eye. And I thought, whoa,
I just recently was thinking about that myself. I'm thinking about the Great Awakening and all of this and what it could mean, kind of had my gears spinning. And I was actually coming up with kind of that same scenario, linking it through the Bible. Maybe it's the hollow earth that we will eventually end up in. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe that's where the actual Garden of Eden was.
A new earth.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or the Garden of Eden was actually on the outside of the earth, and we're actually on the inside. Oh, just kidding. Wait till you guys see how we come to the next show, right? Hi, Raven. Welcome back, Nancy.
What about time travel? That would be a good one too, because I'm seeing all sorts of stuff about that lately. And I don't see how anybody could, say that can't happen, because the possibility is there. You can't disprove it yet, I mean.
Or
yeah, that was one of the things that Corey Good had talked about with Kari, which was down in the subterranean inner earth society. And he even said that their buildings were a lot like Greco-Roman buildings, with the towers and like all in white rooms, and they had the big, like a lot of plaster and stuff like that. I mean, or at least that's the way that I seen it when he was talking about it. That's what I envisioned in my head.
If we do time travel, we should do matrix glitches with that.
Yeah,
I'm seeing tons of these little sparks all the time. If I'm like looking here, I'll see like a spark over here or a spark up here. You guys all getting that?
I have, and I even had this odd moment where I've lost time. And for example, I remember this one day specifically. I went and I picked, and it was so simple. I picked up my sandwich, put it in the microwave at my grandmother's house, closed it, turned it on. I turned around, looked at the TV, and then I remember looking back at the microwave. It was off, and my sandwich was on the table as if I never touched it, picked it up, or put it in the microwave. And I'm questioning, well, did I do it? But I knew I did. And I'm like, glitch in the matrix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what he was talking about. And see, I kind of say with like Kari or the inner earth that they're like the fae or fairy or a different race, not necessarily alien, but like a more advanced or earlier than the human race. And she did say that they live much longer. I mean, their lifespan is like 200 years, maybe 300 years, not, stuck to 100 years, right? But she had talked about how we are like creating different timelines, and that they had created at one point, because of something that was happening within our solar system, that they had created like a different timeline, like a bubble that their society went into. Do you remember her talking about that?
I think that when people talk about the Mandela effect, I think it more correlates with that than it does how somebody remembers something. I really do.
Them piss me off. I get mad because I legit remember certain things, and like the Oscar Mayer Wiener thing, or the Berenstein Bears. Like, where did Berenstein come from? No, it was my favorite book as a kid. You're not going to convince me it was Berenstein.
Exactly. I remember Berenstein as well.
Yep.
And we did not know each other when we were little. Okay. Where did that come from?
And we never talked about it prior to this. So
exactly. And the Mandela effect. Many people believe that Nelson Mandela died in prison, but he didn't.
Yeah. I thought Ozzy died a few years ago, and then turns out he's alive, and I was literally shocked, like shocked to find he was alive, because I'm like, wait a minute, no, he died. It was all over the news. It was everywhere. I've only met a few people that remember that as well. But for the majority, it seems they don't remember that one. But
Nancy says that she's been seeing the sparks too, but she had no idea why. Wow. I mean, we are on a crash course right now. Think about this.
Yes.
All of the retrogrades that are going on right now. I mean, some of these planets that are coming back, I mean, just like Saturn, for one, Saturn like rotates every, I think it's like 30 years, something like that. And that's coming in. And that's also like in retrograde. It might not be Saturn. It's one of them. And I know some of them, it takes forever for them to get back to a certain, just because of how their rotation, what their length is. So if you were even on a different planet, time would be different.
Interesting. And interesting enough, when I was researching this today, I come across actual footage from NASA, really old footage of other planets having poles and entrances in their poles, and they had like this vision of it where you could count literal layers inside of other planets. So I do believe that this theory could also apply to other planets, moons,
56 years. Yes. See, I didn't think it was that long, because I am ruled by Saturn being a Capricorn. And I know that it was like a golden time was like 5 years ago or something for me. And from I don't know. I mean, you could be right. I read so much stuff, it could be jumbled in here. So Maria says, so how do we tell the difference between sciencey things, matrix, magnets, and all that, and spirituality, ghosts, angels, source energy? That's a loaded question.
Well,
we have to go thoroughly crazy.
Just about. I mean, that's like I just found out through researching this, that gravity is being redefined because science was completely wrong about it. And you got to think, a long time ago, what we call science now, spiritualists, mystics, or witches, whatever you want to call them, they were already studying astronomy, astrology. They had things mapped out to the T. They were already healing. I believe science just took over what they could of that and ran with it. And maybe they're not always right. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. That's like if you hear a crazy ass story somebody did and you're going, I can't believe that they did that. Well, it happened. And if you don't want to believe it, don't mean it's not real.
That's right.
Yep. And I had read when I was a young adult, like in my early 20s, I think I was sitting at the doctor's office and picked up a Reader's Digest. So 30 years ago, an article about the hypothesis of us living within a 12th dimension. And they had proven up to 11 that they had proven that we exist in 11, but they didn't want to touch the 12th because what that would mean, that's the tip of the iceberg. That's it being controlled by, one force, one creator. And so they wouldn't touch it. And I think that has a lot to do with why science is as slow as it is, because do we really want to prove that?
Or maybe they have and they just don't want us to know. They're only going to teach us what they want us to know. Things I've learned in school, I remember learning there were only 9 planets when I was learning science. And then when I grew up and did research, there are many billions of planets. Why did school teach me that there were only 9? That's just an example.
Yep.
So Nancy says, or Frankie says, I remember when I thought Ozzy died as well.
Oh my God. See, and I didn't I never thought that. So
Yeah.
isn't that
I thought actually that he had OD'd.
Yeah, it was OD in a car and he wrecked it over it. That was what I remember.
Nancy says that Saturn return in our astro chart. Oh, no, sorry. A year on Saturn is 29.5 years, to clarify what I am trying to say. LOL. Oh, happy belated birthday, Johnny.
Happy birthday.
happy birthday?
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. So, time. Yeah. I wonder if we should talk about that one next.
That'd be a good one.
I mean, there's so many different topics to talk about.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll keep
There
going
is.
until we cover them all.
Oh,
Yeah.
we had talking about the different types of aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her face froze right at that big smile. I love it.
That's great.
Sorry.
That
My
was so cute. Your face froze on a big cheesy smile. Yeah, talking about like different kinds of aliens. I had even heard, and I think I had talked about this in the last one on the Anunnaki, about even the Church of like Scientology, that there was this reporter who had not a reporter, a detective who had been hired by, and I'm guessing it was like Nicole Kidman or Katie Holmes, and they were following, I'm guessing it was Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And that because they had noticed that when he was in the shower, his skin had actually turned green. She had noticed that his skin had turned green. Did you hear about that also?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I did or not.
And they followed into like an inner chamber within the Church of Scientology, and they were like all talking about it, and they had shifted. And it was like the higher ones up that were like actually like hybrids.
Yeah, or the royal family.
Oh yeah, that bloodline.
Yeah.
I watched a video not long ago where they were saying that there are about, from reports and accounts and testimonies, they're debating about, I think it was like 209 different species.
Wow.
And they go on and list it. It's like a 2-hour video, but they go on to list them all, where they are, where they live, other details like that. Now, I don't know how true it is, but it is quite interesting. And the feline, reptilian, and the picture I showed you of the ones that I had seen was in that video. So that's why I personally find it to have some truth to it, because I actually found a picture of entities I came across.
Wow. That might be a really good one. Yeah.
The ones I saw looked just like us, but their head was slightly larger, but they had hair. They appeared to be female, but their eyes were way bigger. Yes, a lot like that. But their eyes had color, like they weren't solid black, but they were kind of shaped and big, like you see an alien, but they had color to their eyes.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Very similar, yes.
This is a she.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, I heard that the Greys were like a creation of the reptilians, just to kind of like do their dirty work. And when I was abducted when I was 10, it was a Gray, and he had the big eyes, but he was just a little gray alien, and he had like real long fingers. And that's all I really remember. Big head, little body.
Wow, that's interesting, because lately I just get these flashes of what you would see as a typical Gray, but their cheekbones are so prominent and their mouths are so small. And
Almost
I don't
like
know,
distant almost.
yeah,
Yep.
I do not know why I get flashes of them, but that's only been recent, like the past few days. I don't know if it's almost like a memory or what it is, or just my imagination, but
I just think that the veil's dropping.
it seems to like stick out to me. It like resonates with me. But when I see them, yeah.
We're seeing the sparks. Yeah. And
Yeah.
this time of year, normally it is. But like what was just said and what we were talking about earlier, all of the crazy stuff that's actually happening in our solar system right now, the planet alignments. I mean, we've got what, 4 planets in retrograde right now and that are clustered right now.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
about that as energy. What the hell is going on? And I've seen this lady on Facebook, and I'm gonna chop this up and it's not gonna come out right, but the things that she had researched about like the last time that this planet was in retrograde, because a lot of these are longer ones like Pluto and Uranus or Uranus, whatever, Jupiter, whatever. Don't start. In retrograde. It was like major revelations that were happening, right? When one of them or 2 of them, we've got 4 of them right now.
Yeah.
That's why everything's being hit so bad.
Yep.
So,
And if the powers that be wanted to start anything, it'd be now.
yes.
I said this will be a year of battles, many battles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And guess what my card for this year was? My yearly tarot card based on my birth year.
The Tower.
The World.
Ooh.
Oh.
Which is also controlled by Saturn. Saturn is about like karma and like revealing the truth. It's like the grandfather of the planets, right? So we're getting our truth this year. We're getting
that is a fact. I feel that.
and
because there's so much
what's going to happen is an alien invasion. You watch.
Oh, I can see it. I had a dream that I was abducted, but it was the military, and they were changing DNA on purpose.
Wow. It looks to me, with everything coming out about what's going on in our skies and stuff, that they're trying to slip us into the reality that they're going to reveal that they're there, that they exist, because it really, really looks like they're just kind of playing with us a little bit, dropping us hints, getting us comfortable with
how we react.
We're not alone.
Yep, it's like we're being tested for the real thing.
Right.
Maria said, doesn't Scientology revolve around aliens jumping into a volcano? Yes. Mm-hmm. Actually, they believed that they had got them in the volcano and then they closed it up and trapped them in there. And that those, because they were like entering humanity and now, like spirits that actually like control us. That's why they do like the auditing and stuff like that in order to keep all those things out of you. And I know that he had talked about, and Tom Cruise had talked about like psychology and like using certain drugs that actually keep you in this loop rather than helping you to explore things that you should be exploring. And it's almost like doing shadow work. If you think about it, it's like doing shadow work. It's helping you to realize what your shadows are or your ego, because it's actually like a being that's attached to you. Yeah.
I could get down with that theory, actually.
Well, because when I do that, I project a being from me.
So do
when meditating or praying, it's like I ask that being to carry out those things for me.
Awesome. Yeah.
So Maria says that she says, I thought these planetary aspects were going on until November 2021. I don't know. I don't know if all of them are going to be in retrograde for that long. I would really have to really search it out really good. But Nancy also says that her daughter-in-law is studying astrology, and she shared that article with her about all these things that are happening right now. And Lavender said, speaking about time, she's like 4 minutes behind us. So her internet must be kind of slow or
Wow, yeah, that's pretty
laggy or something.
Yeah, because I know mine is a little bit, and it's I don't know how laggy it is, but from watching you guys here and then looking down at it's pretty laggy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 4 minutes, but it's pretty laggy. I'll see this here in a little bit.
Exactly. Was someone just talking about the tower moment? Because
I thought you had drawn that card for this year or something.
No, actually, I had done a future life tarot spread. It was a couple of months ago, maybe. And my card that came up for what the political or social environment was the tower card. And I'm telling you, when I look at the tower card, let me show you one of the actual. This is oh my God, and it was the one on top.
Wow.
Look at the red and the blue coming out of.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? Oh, a friend of mine, I told you his sister works for the government or the
Military?
DC. And she and they are preparing because the war that they think is coming is between the parties.
Oh, there's going to be many wars. 2020, like you guys have heard other spiritualists talk about 2020 vision this year. It's when the veil's lifting. I mean, it is going to be every tiny little battle you can think of up to big battles. Over here, it's already kicked off between countries. Literally everybody's fighting. Literally everybody, and people's shadows are coming to light. Like it's purging and being forced in our faces to kind of deal with.
That's rough. Because I've been feeling it, and I've been trying to fight it.
Yeah. We try to fight in battle change, and sometimes
royal family.
Yeah.
You see that crown up at the top?
That's beautiful.
And then down at the bottom, the two sides.
Yep.
One in blue with like the red socks, one with the red cape. That's mainly, I mean, I definitely see the fall of the two major political systems and money. Because although
but I can only hope that that's true. Because
that can be for another video. It is a conspiracy that I find to be true about them trying to eliminate on physical money and go to Bitcoin or electronic money.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yep.
Yeah. Which would be part of the New World Order, right?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Which is also part of like the Council of 13 and the Illuminati, right?
Yep.
Correct.
And do you remember the stories when Y2K came about? And that the year was not going to be, computers were not going to be able to reset themselves. So it would be the fall of our financial system. It would be the fall of all of our computers. It would be the fall of everything. And this was something, according to what I had heard, that the New World Order was trying to make come about. But they were not able to do it because we were able to like shift into a different time thing.
That's just like researchers say 2012 is actually this year to the Mayans, that they had made a mistake, and the year the Mayans were talking about ending was actually this year.
Hey, what if JFK Jr. time jumped to this year?
Do you know how crazy we sound, guys?
Yeah, because everybody's going,
I'm dead and I believe crazier, so With us,
so
you
much
go down
better
that rabbit hole.
But seriously, because he took that magazine and he put all these hints about 2020 in that magazine right before he got offed. Yeah. Or
I wonder
crashed. Yeah.
how many of the aliens are watching us with their little notepads. Like if we have one that watches each individual, and they're just kind of like, all right, well, they're hotter, up, cold, hotter.
And they ain't got to worry about them. They are crazy.
This is so much better than watching TV.
Yeah. And then we go to talking about them and trying to describe them and put them together, and they're probably like, oh, I do not look like that.
I'm offended. Then show yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are wonderful. Okay. In the next 5 minutes, and I know some of you guys are kind of you're lagging really bad. Give us ideas of the things that you would like to see in our next and let me look at the calendar. So our next one would be the 12th of July, July 12th. Oh, is that right? Yeah, I have another video I got to put out, but I'll just put that out earlier in the day because this is important too. Oh, but that's something I did want to talk about. So while you guys are thinking about what you want to put in there, I got to tell you, I was watching this really cool video the other day because I'm in this other collaboration and it's about the moon and stuff. So Allie from Lupa Moon, she was doing one on like how the moon can affect moods and even get people to like commit murder and stuff like that. And she used to work in the healthcare field and how it was just always crazy. They go, oh, must be a full moon kind of thing, right? And how it affects people.
Yeah.
I remember when we were growing up, Mom would say that there was a lady that lived next door, and every time there was a full moon, you could always tell because she went freaking bonkers, and that she thought that there was people, little green men, in her telephone.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, wasn't that Leslie's mom?
I don't know.
Oh no, it was it was the next door neighbor, and she was a practicing witch.
She was?
She was a practicing witch. If you ask Mom about her, I remember her. Yeah, she was beautiful too. Yeah, we went to school with her daughter, and we used to spend the night there every now and again. And she lived right next door. Yeah.
And little green men in her phone.
And she did. She went a little crazy, but yeah.
But is that crazy? That's my whole point. Or was that insight?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, looking back, very much, because she believed in ghosts. She did seances. She did all sorts of stuff. Because pretty sure it was Leslie.
I do that as well, like the seances and stuff. But there are times in my practice where I literally probably was crazy or going crazy, but I can say I got the best information and the best experience out
and
of.
Isn't that what it is? Right. It's like a knowledge overload or something. Right. I mean, because you're receiving.
Right. And then some of it you don't want to believe, so you're battling like, no, this ain't real, I'm going crazy. But then later you start kind of placing the blocks, and before you know it, you have a pyramid of knowledge.
Wow, that's fantastic. Wow.
Hi, B. I'm not sure if you could hear me. Lavender says, wow. What if we've been collectively manifesting the vision of 2020 by using the phrase 2020 vision as a metaphor for painful clarity for decades? I mean, I do believe that we as mass consciousness do change our timelines.
And yes, definitely manifest stuff. That's for sure. If we're all on that same, oh yeah, that's.
That's partly why the elite try to keep us divided and battling, so we're not catching on to that truth or reality that we're capable of coming together and manifesting these things. How
Yes,
powerful
we
we
can
really
manifest unknowingly.
Mhm.
Think about what we can manifest together knowingly.
Yep.
Right on. Lady Knight of Avalon, Maria says, if they got complaints, they can call in. And she's talking about them, the aliens, complaining that we're not describing them
Yeah.
properly. Nancy
What if
said,
they have a hotline going on at the same time? You know.
these damn humans. I am offended.
Can you hold, please?
Could you hold, please? He says, I met JFK Jr. once when I lived in Rhode Island. He was so handsome and very polite. So now I have to go back and read some of those articles in George magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, because Carla, you've been saying for a while to me that you think that he is alive. I mean, his death,
It's a theory.
around that.
Well, I believe in cloning as well.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I want to get DNA done, where you go and get the genealogy done, but I'm afraid of them having my information. I was just watching a live with Masha, and she just got it done. And she says, well, I didn't give them my real name and stuff. I'm like, well, why didn't I ever think about doing that? I thought you had to give them your name and stuff. So if they don't really have my true name and stuff, and I give them that, maybe, right?
Right.
I know that kind of information.
I thought the same thing, but odd enough, I think this is my own conspiracy theory, but my mother donated or had the hospital hold the placenta and umbilical cord of mine in case I ever needed something medically later. I do feel like they kind of store these things and take DNA and kind of take it in other ways, not just through the ancestry, but I do think they find multiple ways of doing that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I think there's a significance in our DNA that they're trying to figure out or discover or.
So, Lady Knight says secret stuff in Antarctica from the Germans is what she's thinking for a topic.
Okay.
That links back to a lot of Nazi stuff.
Uh-huh.
I've had dreams about, Carly, you remember me telling you about this dream that, and this was like placed back. I mean, it seemed like current day for me, but we were in a moving vehicle, and then all of a sudden this like train, but like a train car full of a bunch of women, or maybe it was a truck, I can't remember, but they were like in older clothing, like in the 20s, 30s, looked like that. They were going the other direction. I seen a farmhouse and I seen all this land. And then all of a sudden, and I was in the back of a truck, or I was in the back of a truck. Yeah, I was in the back of a truck. They were in like a train thing. But anyways, I looked up and all of a sudden this huge spaceship appears. Just like if you can imagine.
It's in my head, but in a different,
Yeah, if you can imagine like warp speed and then it showing up and then warping out again. That's what I seen. But as soon as I seen it, I said, no, do you guys believe me? Look at that. I was saying that. And then after that, we ended up going down into like this cave system, and there were tables and bookshelves and all kinds of things that the Nazi party had stolen. These were all artifacts and stuff like that they had stolen that were in these caves. And then I woke up. Wonder, is that a memory? Is that a past memory?
Friend that I work with, I told you about him, Rochelle, that we talk sometimes. He's like totally not on the same page, but we listen to each other.
Yeah.
He had a dream the other day that we met up in a library. And I just thought that was profound because that's what he and I do. We share information. And just the fact that I was in his dream, for one, because I don't know if you guys feel it. I'm pretty sure you do. It's like it's like a mission to wake your brothers and sisters up. If you can, anything that you can do that they might remember and make them go, so they start going down the rabbit hole themselves.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what was it, Maria, that was talking about
MK
the,
about what?
maybe doing the next one on the Nazis?
Yeah, it was Maria. She
Because
said
that might be enlightening to what we're going through right now.
and I'm sure I am going to chop this up, Maria. My apologies. I don't speak German, but it's Neuschwabenland, secret stuff in Antarctica from the Germans, is what she said.
Okay.
So that's very interesting. Hi, Trish. She says, I totally believe in ghosts. Oh gosh, yes. Paranormal. Yeah, I've got some experiences with paranormal. Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, with everything that I have learned in the last couple of years, if it was really a ghost
or some kind of communication. Yeah.
Or if it wasn't an entity, living, not really a ghost, but maybe.
I've questioned that recently, and I tried to channel to see if I could get a hold of some other entity, but that was, I call it inconclusive now, but he said he was like a feline type being, and also one of my guides that I've known, and his name was Scion, which also had weird translations with Zion and other things like that. But yeah, that was interesting. And I honestly felt like I connected with some other entity. It was nothing like I've ever encountered before.
That's crazy. I'm not crazy. That's very interesting. That's because Rochelle and I talked to a young blonde girl, and I wonder now if she was a ghost. I bet she was something else.
I don't know. I mean, I do believe that ghosts, do exist as well. I mean,
spirits without shells.
And I mean, you and I both experienced it. We experienced, and I did tell Courtney about it, a few days ago, because we do a lot of FaceTiming, talking.
I'll discover something new. I'm like, oh, Rochelle, gotta tell you this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know what my sister and I have done for years. I mean, when they would come over, I would pull out the tarot cards. We'd do readings. Carla would do readings. We'd do that kind of stuff. I mean, that was for the recent couple of years. But before that, we would sit down. We would talk about what we had discovered, maybe a new book that we were reading or something that we just seen. And it usually always had something to do with a conspiracy theory or something ghostly or metaphysical, or I mean, from the time we were little. Am I right?
Yeah, being alive is exciting. And if you're going through life asleep, I mean, I don't know. It's a good reason to be alive.
Boring.
Yeah.
People really think we were just born to work and die.
No, exactly. And it's just frustrating when somebody just looks at you and thinks, whatever. And you're like, oh my gosh, you feel sorry for them that they're not able to experience it,
Oh,
I once had a girl.
I think it's more than that, though. And Maria had brought it up earlier about MK Ultra. I think a lot of people have been actually it's like painful for them to look at certain things to a point of, because I'm telling you, I have tried showing videos to my husband or talking to him about certain things, and it's almost like he gets so friggin' annoyed with me because he is completely opposite when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Same with Chris.
He's just
they're either thirsty or they're not.
But I mean, he won't even watch it. I'll put something on, and even if he thinks that it might intrigue something, he'll put his ears on and watch something else and not watch that. It's like he refuses to even look at it. It's like, why? Why are you refusing to even look at the possibility or the story of what somebody else is telling you? I mean, when someone's saying, I just don't got time, I don't get it.
I know Chris does the same, but I was working with this nurse not long ago before I left New York. And I was kind of getting her into it, explaining how the Illuminati works and how the system, I was giving it to her, telling her everything. We're outside smoking and she's going, and she goes, stop. She goes, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear none of it. And walked away from me. And I'm like, are you okay? Did I upset you? She goes, look, it scares the shit out of me. So I'd rather just not believe it and continue doing what I'm doing in life. So don't. And I'm like, okay.
They got that safe zone. I've been deleted or unfollowed because, I just started revealing my true self, about 6 months ago. And I'm noticing, I thought that person was my friend. Wait a minute.
Run with that.
Now you know what witches deal with.
Be your true self.
Now you know what witches deal with, okay?
Yeah, it is. They say that the most hated people are the people giving you the truth. And that's
you don't want to see, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lavender says ideas is ghosts, paranormal experiences, ley lines. Ley lines is another great one. Sacrificial points, cosmo-magical city and city grids. Oh, I love the way you think. Honey, if you want to join in, you let us know. I can have up to 6 people here. Country grids, cryptids, regional cryptids, or paranormal legends. Yes.
I love that. I have so many.
B says no DNA. Like mine's, right?
Cryptids is a good one.
Let me look. No. Schwabenland. Neuschwabenland is how you pronounce it. Oh, I missed a bunch of stuff. See,
so what is cryptids?
I'm sorry?
What is cryptids?
Cryptids are different, they're said to be supernatural creatures, or like, for example, the skinwalkers, wendigos, chupacabra.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Like yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes, it is. And what I love about this, sis, and it's so good that you do this, because when you're doing research, I mean, it's just like, you're like, whoa, and you can have a common knowledge of it, but when you actually dive in, I mean, it's like it ties everything in together.
Yes. Many of these friggin', that's what I was talking about, conspiracy theories. They all fit into each other. Yeah, it's amazing. Ay, caramba. Either that or it's just how our minds work, right? We want to put everything together. Who knows? But I love
the
it.
Merkaba, it just fits together.
So she put in, Maria put in a link, thank you, sweetie, for the MK Ultra stuff.
Oh, I have a lot on that.
Nancy said, when I was a child, I remember my first nightmare. I was in my mother's convertible, and the planets, Saturn, Venus, Neptune, Mars, etc., started moving toward Earth, and everything on Earth went crazy. Wow. Just saying.
Yeah.
Lavender says, I mean, I could have sworn I saw Elvis working at a Stuckey's gas station in Forest County, Mississippi. So who's to say, right? I have heard stuff about that too. This is way up there, guys. B says Hitler was a cult obsessed about finding out all magical secrets to gain advantage over the masses for complete control. Yes, I have heard that.
Yeah, same.
Have you ever seen the movie Bubba Hotep? The premise is Elvis switched places with an impersonator and was in a nursing home battling mummies. Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, but True Blood, that was one of them the one that was in the book. You didn't really see him too much in the series, but he was in the book, and he was supposed to be Elvis Presley because of the situation that he was in when they turned him into a vampire. He was kind of like a dumb vampire.
Yeah. Hey, you know,
Series.
our dad had a friend who thought he was Elvis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I told you about that, didn't I?
No.
That was when I visited him, and his friend who thought he was Elvis, his name was Fred, but he kept going to our dad, hey, did you tell her who I really am? You know. And so our dad goes, he's really Elvis. And he was like, right. You know.
Trish says, I am here to say that they are real. And I'm thinking she's talking about aliens or ghosts. Yes, ghosts, because I know she has ghosts in her house.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Haunted houses.
Do you have that link to the meditation to change our perception of reality? If so, could you link it in the bottom when you upload this? I don't remember where I got it, honey. I will search for it. But I remember it was a lady, I'm almost positive it was a lady that was in the spiritual community with doing tarot and all that. And she was talking about how to train your mind to seeing the truth. Because a lot of it, what you're seeing is an illusion. And she said, but once it like opened your mind where you can actually see it.
My personal way of doing that is kind of remaining quiet and taking a step back and not inserting myself in situations. Just kind of, you'll be amazed at what you find when you actually observe.
I'll just observe. Yeah. I agree with that.
Peek between the lines.
You remember, Rochelle, when we were first learning about magic, as far as like from a knowledgeable standpoint, instead of just what we, like felt. And you got your hands on that. Was it the
Sacred Magic of the Abramelin? Yes.
Yeah. And one of the things that he had mentioned was that only those with the purest intentions or whatever delve any further. And I think that that's like knowledge. It's because and that was knowledge. It's because if it doesn't drive you crazy, it is because you have to be open to the possibilities and not freak out. You have to, like you were talking about, compartmentalize or whatever everything.
Compartmentalizing everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise it could drive you crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh, it definitely can. I mean, I tell you, after learning a lot of stuff, I went into a sub shop, and I swear to God, the person that was next to me was in a military outfit. I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God. And then I started having like anxiety and cold sweats because I'm like, oh my God, are they watching me right now? This guy's like right behind me. Every time I look, it's like, I mean, you go through that stage. I know I did. But then you just have to say, okay, it is what it is. I'm not in a fearful state anymore. It's just about obtaining knowledge and then passing it on, whether you believe it or not. It's just about opening up other people's minds to possibilities. I'm not saying anyone is 100% truth. I don't have 100% truth knowledge, but I will tell you, I was reading in Understanding the Thoth Tarot by Duvet, and he mentions about the Abramelin, and that I believe it's that book, that it was written over 100 years ago, right? And that there many people in the occult community believe that actual book was cursed, and that many people, after reading the whole thing, had actually died after reading that. I never read the whole thing.
I didn't either. I didn't either.
It scared the hell out of me and said, okay, I'm done.
Ooh,
It was so powerful. Obviously, the information that was in there, if you didn't have the purest intention, anything that you might have manifested would have come back the opposite of what you intended tenfold.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yes.
So, and that's why I'm like, yeah, no, I think the cover's nice.
Well, that book, it like talks about the history because it's Abrahamic magic. It's also magic that was like King Solomon kind of magic, and it talked about
given to him by an angel, correct?
Yes, or given to him by God, and he had like the symbol. It has to do along with like the lesser keys of Solomon.
Yeah, I believe I may have read that or part. Yeah,
Right.
You get about halfway through it.
Find them.
You get about halfway through it, and then it says, "Now this is a warning."
Right.
From this point on is the rest of the actual magic, and it shows sigils and numbers and stuff like that. That's when I stopped. I was like, no.
Yeah.
It says once you open this door, you can never close it. And I remember my mom's voice in the back of my head going, "Curiosity killed the cat."
Yeah.
I didn't.
Same.
That was like 15, 20 years ago. Okay,
Yeah.
so I didn't, and then I passed it on to my sister.
And I did the same thing. I don't even think I read as much as you did, sis, just because of what you said. Yeah. Yeah.
So Lavender says, my husband is further down the rabbit hole than me. I think he gets that same frustration with me, but I'm a person that needs to dissect all of the different ways something can be faked before I'll believe. Yeah. I mean,
Good.
Yes.
You should always have somebody that's going to show you the other side of things so that you have a very well-rounded information to go on to make your own conclusions. Just like in this, we're talking about the hollow earth. The way that they were trying to disprove it was with size. What do they call that? Seismic waves.
Yeah.
Because nobody is actually drilled or gotten to the center of the earth, journey to the center of the earth. So they use those seismic waves to try and, measure and see what's there. And the possibility of caves is still there.
Mm-hmm.
It does not disprove that theory. And the whole gravity thing that you were talking about, that's like, okay, we're going to try and refigure this out, know? And then there was another one talking about it being hollow and then actually having the crystal at the center of the earth. That one, I forget what they used. It's in the Wikipedia if you look it up.
Gartha.
Yeah, where they can actually, they believe they have things that they can disprove that theory. But the honeycombs, that is entirely possible and probably more possible than not.
Nancy,
but it's good to know those things.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to have somebody go, oh, that is not true. There's no way that's true. Oh, really? Show me. Let's talk.
Exactly. So Nancy said that her stepson has seen the chupacabra while hunting. He didn't even know what it was at the time.
I've seen
it. I hear you, Nancy. The same here. My hubby will not come in my witchy room. Yeah. The link is not for MK Ultra. It has cloning and all kinds of info in there. Oh, okay. I just see CIA MK Ultra collection down at the bottom of that. But you would love to join. Awesome. Y'all have been subliminally conditioning it through film practically since its inception. Absolutely. Music industry as well. Yeah.
Yep.
When she's speaking of clearing your pineal gland, Rochelle, was she speaking of cleaning your pineal gland? That might have been it. It was some sort of affirmation or something that she said that was about just, wiping the illusion away so that you can actually see what's in front of your face, which she was talking about actually being able to see the hybrids and aliens like reptilians or reptoids, because they use like some sort of wave, like frequency, in order to block you to be able to see them, like light frequency or something like that. Yes, I understand. I am looking for something to help my friend Shelly. She is requesting info to help her see reality. Okay. Let's see. I believe tones and vibrations can open doorways. Absolutely. I think that's true about sound vibrations. Yes. They have found huge crystal caves underground. Have y'all seen the photos drop? Oh, yes. We were talking about that earlier. Huge.
Yes. Yep.
We can use music with magic at our house all the time. I agree. If you think about, and I had not thought about this, but until I started really, really thinking about music, and it actually came with self-care for me, because if you think about this, a lot of the songs that we listen to, especially like country music, it's about my dog died, my wife left me, my blah, 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 blah. It's like all sad crap. And it's like, doom, doom, and it brings you down and it puts you in like a different state of mind. And it's not like I haven't liked it, or even songs that you hear that are rock and roll and they're like, we will rock you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Or which can help like bring you up, right? But some of them, the music, the words that you're repeating, like this person left me or that person left me, it's a sad song and it's emotional and you're feeling it and you're singing it, that can change your vibration, and not in a good way. Even when it's a good song that you've loved, not in a good way.
And some of the things that you do, like when you're doing a ritual, like, or for something like a chant or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's almost like a music song or whatever. So I guess it depends on what you're trying to accomplish with it. But yeah, I could see where music could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
music can make you feel powerful. It can make you feel sad. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to be mindful of those things. I mean, a lot of like rap music, think about it. A lot of rap music can be uplifting because of the actual words that are being used, not the tone,
Right.
but the actual words, right?
Yeah.
Some of those can also tear you down when it's talking about being violent, being, it can put you in a different state. And then you got to think about what frequency is that music being put on?
Yeah.
What is it being played on? And then we've got like the earthly resonance. What's that called? Schumann's resonance, which is like what the earth is actually vibrating at.
Oh.
And see, here's the thing. And as far as like awakening and stuff like that, it's because from my understanding, it's the earth that is evolving right now. And we are evolving with her.
Mm-hmm. Well, I told you I was a tree hugger. And when I was hugging the tree in the backyard, like when I don't know, it's been about it was last summer. I felt so much energy from that. It just like made me like, it was like touching a battery. I mean, it was just, and I'm like, man, why didn't I hug this tree before?
Probably because you were too worried about damn ticks getting in your hair, right? From over above.
Probably. Yeah. But just living in the country is nice. But yeah, there's a lot of energy, good energy there. And the city, not so much. Driving, not so much. That when I hit a deer a couple years ago, sis, I was thinking about this when we were talking about, emotions and all that, and part of being that, using that in magic and stuff. When I hit that deer, I was really ticked off at Bob.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And it was almost like I felt the negativity. It was like there's just sparks of it all around me. And like right after that, emotions, and almost to the point of, I mean, I was very ticked. That deer came out of nowhere. I mean, I was lucky that the damage to the truck was minimal, but I'm telling you, that's proof. You know, negativity attracts
More
bad
negative
things.
stuff.
Yeah. And so when you're positive and you're putting that out there, I mean, I don't know. I was just,
Which, I mean, when we're in a world right now that has so much negativity, that is what we need to do, is try to exude positivity, right? That's why I say, I've said it before, the reason why I try to push love and light is because I see all the negative so friggin' easily. That's the first thing I friggin' see. And in order to try and counteract that, it's not that when people, it's a misconception when people are, oh, love and light. No, it's not. It's truly not. It's what we are trying to push because we see all of the darkness.
And it's hard.
Oh, yes, I know. Because I'm not, you guys know. I mean, when I am not on here, I cuss like a truck driver. I mean, I do, you know, I mean, that's just the honest truth. And the only reason I'm not here is because then I can't monetize, and I'm trying to monetize, although you don't really make much money off YouTube. I mean, don't quit your day job, right? But, you know, so I want to keep it clean so that other people can watch these as well. But man, when I'm not on it, it's like, F this and
That's when I'm driving. I'm horrible when I drive.
oh my gosh. Yeah, you got major road rage.
No, and that's a battle. That is a battle.
Yeah, Trish says that's why I play Christian music when I cleanse my house, because the bad spirits don't like that. Yeah, I know that. Oh, that is a lovely idea. It's really good for pets and children. Yes, have you looked into water shaping? Vibes creating magical molecular forms in water. Yes, I have seen that. They'll put it on top of like a drum and a plate. Yeah, and they'll play certain music and it creates ancient geometry or sacred geometry.
Oh my gosh. I have seen something like that. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, that's magnificent. Wow. Well, I do have to get going, Sissy. I'm filling the pool and it's probably close.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Ooh.
Finally.
Yeah. So guys, go to the Amethyst Ascension family group on Facebook. This is where we will be discussing what we're going to be talking about next week. We'll talk about it. Anybody that wants to join in, make sure that you go to that group. Let us know that you want to join in, and I will make sure that I send you a link so that you can come on here with us as we talk about whatever topic that we decide on. And if you've got, we've had some good ideas here. If you guys want to, leave some other ideas, and then we'll decide. And the next one's going to be in like 2 weeks from now, I believe, July 12th, I said. All right. So Conspiracy Sunday.
Yay!
All right. Love you guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Talk to you later.